Did you know it's impossible to burn fat off your abs? You can whip out more crunches than a Nestle factory, but you're never gonna see your abs. Sorry, man. I know it'd be a lot cooler if you could.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
And no amount of resistant band pulls and pushes are going to get rid of that arm flab that hangs from the back of your arms in family photos. Ever see those guys doing ridiculous neck exercises because they're embarrassed of their double chin? Yeah, same goes for those guys. I'm sure this girl would probably rather not have fat in her forehead, or this guy in his neck probably. Wouldn't it be great if we could just burn off the love handles and the neck fat and hide the rest somewhere else?
Yeah.
I'd probably put it in my feet, I guess, or store it all on my shins so I'd stop busting them against furniture in the dark. Burning fat off a single part of your body by exercising it enough is a myth that is called spot reducing. Burning fat off your whole body, however, now we're talking about a way to get rid of that stubborn belly and arm fat. Look at these misleading advertisements telling that you'll burn off fat if you target these areas with exercise. This one's the best. Either this guy got a tattoo or this isn't even the same dude. Hear me, please. Do not waste your time trying to do this. There is good news though. You can still get rid of that fat. You just have to understand that your body has that fat organized and numbered and cataloged in a certain way, and it will draw on it when its fat stores are low enough to need it. You can't convince your body to grab it, however.
Well, yes, but what about catecholamine levels and respiratory quotients and beta-2 versus alpha-2 receptors?
Man, just shut up. No one's impressed with your big brain time. I'm talking about burning fat off with exercise, not complex hormone level, fasting versus fed, debatable science jargon here, okay? So let's stick with the foundations. You know what's another terrible goal? Toning certain body parts. How exactly do you tone your body? It sounds like it involves massage.
How about no?
People typically mean tone as the antithesis of being bulky and muscular, sort of like Apollo versus Hercules. But there's a big misunderstanding in people's minds when they say this. The techniques that make you a Hercules are the same ones you'd use to make you Apollo,
What do you
just
know?
aimed at different targets. By the end of this video, you're going to see exactly why. Hey, I'm Dwayne, but most people call me Thor. At least they did until Great Clips took a lawnmower to my hair. Man, this really is a journey back to myself now. Anyway.
I'm okay.
I've been working out for 23 years and coaching others for over half that time. I've unlocked the secrets of getting into any shape I want, and I want to share this information with others, especially if you are feeling hopeless or out of control of your own body. I know I did, and there were times it felt like I would never look how I always dreamed. I've used these techniques to win contests that meant the most to me, body transformation and composition contests. I'm not a professional bodybuilder. I'm a regular non-fitness guy like you probably are, and I never cared to be standing on stage in a Speedo next to a bunch of other oiled up guys. I'd rather have control to look how I feel and feel comfortable in my own skin at any time. In 2018, I won the Holy Grail Award for Best Transformation, losing 20 pounds of pure fat and gaining 20 pounds of pure muscle in only 3 months. I'm posting a new video every Monday to teach you how, as I do it all over again after separate arm injuries, the birth of my child, and the government shutdown kept me out of the gym for the better part of a year. And to test if you really don't need supplements, I'm experimenting by not touching a single one. I've never done this before, not even protein powder.
You're crazy. You're crazy, man. You're crazy.
I like you, but you're crazy.
I don't know if it'll work, but you'll have to follow along to see what happens. Today, I'm going to tell you all the secrets I've learned about cardio training. Let's get to it. Okay, I've got an experiment for you to try right where you are, and all it requires is that you do this for a while. Yeah, it might make you look a little weird in a public setting. If anyone gives you a hard time, just tell them you're warming up your slapping hand in case they bother you again.
Larry, what the hell are you doing?
Larry!
Larry, you can't just... Oh,
Larry! Oh, are you alright? How did...
Larry!
Don't do it just yet, though. Did you know that your body has several gears like a car? Your body has 4 gears, not unlike Paul Walker with his 20-gear cars in Fast and the Furious. including the biggest reverse gear I have ever seen in history. Your body's such an elegant piece of master engineering. I'll bet you never even knew it was constantly switching gears as you went about your day, did you? The gears are ATP, creatine, glucose, and aerobic cardiovascular. What the heck does that mean? Let me explain something about human bioenergetics. Well, first of all, for those of you who slept through 7th grade biology class, ATP is the energy molecule. It's literally the closest thing to pure physical energy in the biological sense. Every form of life that we know of uses the action molecule ATP. ATP contracts your muscles, it creates body heat, it creates light in things like fireflies, and it is the literal power in the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell.
Wow.
ATP is energy for all intents and purposes. ATP is your body's first gear. Simple and quick, taking you from zero motion to action. Your body has enough ATP on hand for some quick movements, but it quickly depletes these stores within seconds. When this happens, do we suddenly just drop dead?
I'm dead!
No, of course not, because other specialized processes kick in to create more ATP on the fly. Imagine driving a car that only stores a few cups of gasoline at any given time, but has an oil refiner in the back seat that makes new fuel immediately whenever it's required. Or if the car recycled any parts it wasn't currently using, like the windshield wipers or headlights, then rebuilt them again when it got rainy or dark outside. All without stopping, Mad Max style. The creatine phosphate system kicks in within seconds of movement to produce more ATP using stored phosphocreatine and the spent ATP molecules, which have become ADP. All you really need to know is that the creatine phosphate system is second gear, which lasts something like 10 seconds. And yes, this is why fitness athletes and bodybuilders tout the benefits of creatine. No, creatine in itself doesn't make you stronger. Nope. But by adding a little extra fuel to the 10 to 15 second range of your lifts, you just might squeeze out another 1 to 3 reps of that heavy lift before exhaustion, and that can definitely make you stronger. For the record, I do like and endorse creatine. It's one of the few supplements I do, but as I've said from day one, you don't need it to get into fantastic shape, and you should focus on these fitness fundamentals before worrying about the extra few percentages of improvement you'll see from it. Third gear is your glycolytic or anaerobic system, and starts at about 10 to 15 seconds and lasts all the way up to a minute or so. Glycolytic comes from the root gluc or glyco, which comes from the Greek glykos, which meant sweet, and glucose, which meant sweet wine, which makes sense because it was first obtained from grape sugar. Anytime you see gluc or glyco, you know it's referring to some form of sugar. Hyperglycemia is high blood sugar. Hyper means high, and hypoglycemia means low blood sugar. Hypo means low, as in hypothermia, low body temperature. Isn't word etymology fun? Or maybe I should say satisfying.
From Latin situs facere, discharge, fully comply with, make amends. Literally do enough. From satis, enough. From Proto-Indo-European root.
Your muscles store sugar in the form of glycogen. After the creatine phosphate system is exhausted, your body begins breaking down this glycogen to form additional molecules of ATP. This process eventually decreases intracellular pH, aka it makes your muscles more acidic, which is why you literally feel a burn when lactate in hydrogen increases to the point where your body cannot pump it out in time. This is called the lactate inflection point, LIP, and it's when you exercise beyond 85% of your max heart rate for too long. In this environment, eventually your muscles literally cannot contract. So what do you do then? Well, for one thing, you naturally slow down a bit. All-out sprinting slows down to a moderate jog or a brisk walk, but you can keep going. How is that? Well, that's because you're now in 4th gear. Yeah! Wait, no, now that's 5th gear. No, okay, now that's like 8th gear, and that's not even realistic for cars. Wait, did he just shift in reverse? Ugh, man, these Fast and the Furious movies. Awful. Why did I even bring this on myself? Okay, so your body sort of has an emergency 5th gear, I guess, which is burning protein, which you really don't want to have to resort to and normally wouldn't have to unless you're in situations where you need energy faster than you can produce it under normal circumstances. Let's just ignore that for now because we're going to try to keep you out of that state. Back to 4th gear, aerobic exercise. Aerobic comes from the Greek word aero for air and bios for life. This is because aerobic exercise requires air or oxygen to combust. Aerobic exercise kicks in when your body requires more energy even after using glycolysis for a while, and with oxygen present, it can now efficiently use stored fat for energy. Finally. This is what we want to get to while trying to burn body fat. Okay, Now it's time for that experiment I mentioned at the beginning of this video. You can experience every gear right now, wherever you are, with minimal effort. I encourage you to do this with me so you can see how this information connects to you in a real-world way. Ready? Okay. Start moving your hand like this. In the first few seconds, it's virtually zero effort because you're burning pure ATP that's immediately ready. But after a few seconds, though, you're already using creatine even if you don't know it. And now, very soon, you might start to feel a burn, especially if you're trying to go very fast. That's the pH lowering in your muscles from utilizing glycogen stores in your hand and arm, the so-called lactic acid burn. Then at some point, you'll suddenly feel this sensation causing you to want to breathe a little heavier. You can fight it, but don't. It's your body gearing up for aerobic cardio fat burning. Remember, oxygen is required for aerobic exercise, so your body is starting to increase the oxygenation of your blood. At some point, you may feel sweat forming on your forehead too. You've got thousands upon thousands of reactions going on right now, and they produce heat as a byproduct, so your body knows you're about to get overheated if this continues, and is preparing to cool you down. Okay, once you've felt the urge to breathe harder and faster, you can go ahead and stop. That was the whole experiment. You may notice that your heart is now beating faster too. It's getting that oxygen flowing through your blood faster so it can be used quickly. Do you see how this scientific stuff all applies in a very practical way to how you move your body around every day without you even knowing about it? I love this stuff. Well, good job. You're more connected to your own physiology now. You may have noticed that as each gear progresses, energy is less rapid and immediate, but the storage tank gets larger. In fact, for body fat stores, the energy source is practically infinite. When I started this challenge, I had 45 pounds of fat and I was at 20% body fat. To burn all the way down to 3% body fat, the theoretical minimum for a man, would use about 40 pounds of fat, which is 140,000 calories. Someone of my size burns about 400 to 600 calories per hour of moderate jogging. So if that was pure body fat that I was burning, I could jog for 350 hours straight, or 2 straight weeks, 24 hours a day. At 5 miles an hour, that's 1,750 miles, or from California to Illinois. Pretty sure my harder joints would give out first, or my nipples would rub off. No freaking joke. But this is all hypothetical, just to give you an idea of how efficient the fat storage system is as a long-term energy. And that's just a man at 20% body fat. More body fat would get you even further. I want to just briefly mention to all the other nerds out there who would also care like I would that I really wouldn't be burning pure body fat. Carbohydrates are also used during cardio. If they're not present because you've been depriving your body of carbs, then the body ends up producing a molecule called ketones as a type of alternative fuel source. This is where the term keto diet actually comes from. You have no carbohydrates present, so your body switches to an alternative chemical reaction that involves these ketones, and that process is called ketosis, or keto. That's beyond the scope of this video, but I thought you should know how that fits into the overall cardio picture.